Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. So I saw Odie again.
Odie the troll?
Yeah, you saw that too?
Yeah, where he had a toy and he was just like hiding under a bridge. Well, no, he was just hiding in a corner like a giant dingus.
She posted it that he was a troll.
Yeah, it was really cute. So an update, Odie is happy as fuck and he loves his people more than he loved us.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy about that. But speaking of trolls, our guest had to deal with a major troll recently.
We have a guest?
Yeah, we have Jackson Horn. He's an aspiring comedian who just doesn't give a fuck. Hey, so Jackson, are you there?
What's up? Yeah, I'm here, man. I just, I don't want people to take that statement in a very an absolute manner. Like, I give a fuck about life's necessities. I'm not destitute, but I definitely don't give a shit about like certain emotional reactions to opinions because, quite frankly, they're just useless. Like, an idea is an idea, and it needs to be either destroyed or accepted. And people don't get that about life.
Yeah, the gray area that doesn't really exist, right?
Yeah, people like to think. I mean, it's a popular idea, I suppose, but people seem to think that their emotions have rights, as if like people have to just go around saying, "Hey, before I go launch an iPhone, like, do you want one?" Like, no, people just make an iPhone. They don't ask for permission first. That's not how products are made. Like, Apple didn't go around surveying 3 billion people to say they just did it. So.
Well, that's the point. You do have to just march yourself out there, and you're either going to succeed or you're going to fail. Nobody talks about, and that's the funny part, nobody talks about the lukewarm part in the middle because it doesn't really exist.
Yeah, but with there's another problem with people in this world, and the problem is they can't handle not just ideas that are offensive, but they cannot handle being personally attacked when it's in the context of a roast. And a roast is literally just saying, "Hey, I have permission because of an art form to be a dick, and you're not supposed to take it to heart." Like, Comedy Central literally has roast battles, just to see who can be more of an asshole. But like, and at the end they hug. And this happened to me on Instagram, and these stupid motherfuckers, like.
Given that everybody thinks everything's a personal attack, that shouldn't be surprising.
Like honestly, like I wonder what kind of brain these people were born with. Like, some people should just take their brain and just look at it in the mirror in the form of their image, and they should just imagine their self taking their brain out like this and just hurling it into the mirror and just letting it fall on the floor. Like, you need to re-examine your brain because it's made of dog shit. And that's almost a Joe Rogan joke, but I'm just being serious. Like, some people don't know. Like, Joe Rogan says something similar. I'm just saying people should just take their brain and they should just learn how to like make it work, because it's not working for them clearly. But
well, I mean, we put it a little more bluntly than that. We always say that when we started this show, we really intended to just sort of capture the crazy conversations we had, right, babe?
Yeah, but really, we learned over 205-ish episodes that people are just assholes.
They're assholes, and they're for the most part, not really intelligent
at all, ever. Well, especially in Costco.
There's a difference between being a smart asshole and being a stupid asshole. Like, a stupid asshole just doesn't know how to be anything that anybody would want to be around. But like, a smart asshole is a comedian. Like, that's literally like. But no, so I mean, there's I've started following a myriad of accounts, and I came across this basic bitch type of a question. And it was like it's the shower thoughts. It's a shower thoughts account, and I'm sure y'all would get this, but my autistic ass doesn't always get shit like this. But it's like, why is there an L in Noel if there is Noel? And I'm just, and I sat there and I fixed it. I'm like, okay, why is there the letter L in the word Noel, in the name Noel, Noel, if there is Noel? And I'm just like, are you motherfuckers trying to be serious right now? Like, you think this is not funny. Like, this is just a mind fuck. And it's not even funny that's a mind fuck. It's an annoying mind fuck. So fuck you for making me waste my fucking brain cells on this bullshit. So I commented and I was like, to be honest, I think the question makes zero sense. The question is asking why a word is spelled the way it's spelled. I want to laugh, but don't get it. And the motherfuckers who think they're funnier than me come on my fucking account and they're like, at pardon fucking me. And my dad bitched at me. He's like, your account username is like dismissive. I'm like, no, no, your intelligence doesn't understand what being smart even means. That's why you're saying it's offensive. No. So I changed it to the funny Horn because my last name's Horn. So I'm trying to conform because conformity is so important for everybody.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I agree. But, you can't do whatever the fuck. I mean, not even Jeff Bezos or Bezos, however the fuck you want to say his name, can do whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, if he could, he wouldn't have lost Mackenzie, his wife, I think that's her name. Yeah. But so this polite woman,
that name,
this polite, I'm pretty sure it's Mackenzie. I'm almost positive, as a matter of fact. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. I would never fuck her in the first place. So who cares? It says, so this woman replies, read it out loud a few times. It's a play on words. I'm like, okay, that was an acceptable reply to my complaint. Now I will entertain this comment thread. So it goes on. It goes on. I said, and this isn't too long. It's just you got to kind of give a fuck to pay attention. So I basically, I'm very direct. Like, I don't really hide behind my emotions. I say what I want to say to whomever because I need to, and I'm still getting fucked up. To be kind of irrelevant for a second, I learned from The Office that the word whom is used for the object of a sentence, not the subject. Who is for the subject, whom is for the object. So I just now learned that. Thank you, fucking The Office, for educating me. Fuck you. Fuck you, high school, for never teaching me basic shit. You motherfuckers.
And I'm sitting here listening to you explain that, and I'm going, well, yeah, I know this already. But how did I know that?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
To tell you the truth, I don't know how I figured it out, but I already knew that.
It's magic.
So I replied to this girl named Lisa, I guess her name is. I was like, I DM'd you to seek an explanation, but I don't think there is one. So then this other bitch, if it's a bitch at all, it might be a guy who's acting like a bitch, I don't know. But this guy's like, pronounce Noel, no L, in parentheses, no L, meaning no letter L. And I go, I go back to anyway. I don't want to reference everybody because it's a waste of my time. But I said at this person, the way you explain it makes sense. And then this other dude, being the fucking idiot he is, he goes, "Are you actually being serious right now?" I'm like, "No, dude. I just fucking programmed my mind to say nothing on purpose. You're right. I'm just typing because I'm on autopilot. No, fuck you and your dumbass retort and your dumbass retort." So. And I said to the same guy I just referenced, I said, if you want me to roast you, keep throwing punches. And I also hearted the comment. Like, I like to heart bullshit when people insult me. I'm like, heart, like, because they think I'm gonna get offended.
Throws them off balance, yeah.
Like they think I'm gonna get offended. It's just the funniest, it's the cutest thing ever. So I go ahead and I friend request this guy. I want to see his profile. I'm like, dude, you're about to get fucking killed. So he replies to my.
To hear this.
He replies to my roasting comment and he goes, "No one can be this dumb nowadays." I'm like, oh my fucking Christ on a popsicle. This guy is going to wish he was a transgender girl tomorrow. So literally when he approved my profile request, his little profile, it says no account in German, and then it says B grader at the bottom. It just says B grader, nothing else, just B grader. I'm just thinking, does this dude think before he types? So I go, and again, these are just easy jokes, but anyway, I go, I guess B grader means acting like the complete waste of sperm that you are. Oh, no. And so then he goes at pardon fucking me, which I'm not, formally that was my name due to complaints from my parents and whatever. He goes, that doesn't even make sense. Guess you'll have to roast me harder. I'm curious. And so I go, And so I go, it really does break my heart that my level of intelligence is so hard for you to comprehend that you're already labeling it as illogical. It must sting so much it must sting so much that you can't discern what's smart because you're already too dumb. I guess you really can't fix stupid. Need me to send some money for a psychiatrist appointment? And I'm not the funniest guy alive. I'm trying, but I don't have a chill button. So then he replies, he goes, I really could use a sponsoring from your side, not just for the psychiatrist, but also I would appreciate a little extra income. He spelled income ICOM, but I'm generous enough to not give a fuck. So in general terms, could we agree on $50? Again, puts the money sign after the dollar amount, which is again, like, these trolls think they're funny, but they can't even use symbols in the correct order. So it's like, I don't know how to fucking be nice to you because you're an idiot. So
just hold on one second, just so everyone knows. I have to describe this. He's sitting there giving hand motions for what he's trying to say, and none of you can see that, but that's what he's doing, and it's making me laugh.
Everything makes
now
you
he
laugh.
knows. Now he knows. No hand motions.
Sorry, but yeah, I just
tell what you got to say. Go for it.
So then again, this was like one of my most immediate opportunities to be a roaster. Like, I only decided I was going to be a comedian like maybe less than like 2 weeks ago, if that. So this guy, I say back to his psychiatrist ICOM misspelled bullshit. I was like, I'm still unsure about what exactly you want to be greater at. Are you trying to tell the world that you want to be greater at being an accident? Was your last account too lame? And he's like, no, actually, I have to admit that due to a little incident, spelled incident wrong again. And let's discern something real quick. Accident is something that's not supposed to happen. Incident is what you mean to happen. Let's get that correct, like whom and who. So then,
I feel like I'm getting a grammar lesson.
That's what I was just going to say. That's why I pay for Grammarly. I don't need to know all this stuff.
So yeah, exactly. I love Grammarly. So I'll reiterate. So no, actually, I have to admit that due to a little incident that includes forgetting my password, I simply lost my old account. Well, you lost brain cells too, apparently, because how did you lose an account? Did you lose your iPhone? And he's like, be greater simply is one of the mottos of Spider-Man. I'm like, well, the fact that I don't know about that means I'm obviously of higher order than you in the food chain of life. Because who gives a fuck about Spider-Man if you're fucking intelligent? I mean, unless you're making the movie, fuck you and your Spider-Man fan. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to shit on Spider-Man. Like, fuck yeah, Peter Parker, but like, you can't. If you're 24 and you like Spider-Man, and you go to dinner and talk about Spider-Man, you're never gonna get laid. That's just how that works. So
that's accurate.
So then he says. So again, I simply lost my old account. Be greater simply is one of my mottos of Spider-Man, which you wouldn't humiliate if you weren't that ignorant. And I'm just like,
what the hell? You get worse weirdos than I get, and I get some weirdos. I really do.
So let me get this straight. So ignorance is the absence of knowledge. So you're saying that because I don't give a fuck about one movie means I'm ignorant about how logic works? That, like, the level of retardation in that statement is honestly more astonishing than going to the moon.
But that's because people like that have already made a decision about you. They've put you into a cubicle in their mind, and that's where you live in their world. So since they've put you in there, you can tell them anything you want. They've decided that's how it is. And they might even think in their head that you have green skin and you don't. But to them, you got green skin, and nothing you say, nothing you show them is ever going to change their mind. Because they can't use their brain, like you said earlier.
The only thing that would change their mind is if I use my green-skinned Hulk dick to fuck their girlfriend. So whatever,
That would probably change a few minds.
Oh, you think I can't change your mind? Here's my green dick, bitch. I'll fuck your girlfriend. She'll like it, and then she'll tell me to come back for more. How about now, bitch? Like, people just don't realize I have no fucking, like, you want to entice me to be mean? You might as well just go get Xanax and then just wait. Like, I'm just, you're gonna need backup for this shit. Like, I'm not nice when I don't want to be nice. Like, people don't understand. The more you say, the less likely you are to survive any roast battle. We're in the age of information, And we're like, oh, I want privacy, but I'm just going to
Yeah.
give Snapchat all my pussy pictures. Like, no, bitch, you're lying. You want Snapchat, you want a database to have your vagina inside of it. And you're saying you want privacy? So you want robots to come to you
That's
when they
not
can't
a
even.
bad point.
Anyway,
That's not a bad point at all, actually. What do you think? What do you think? You're quiet over there. Open your mouth.
Shut up. I'm being harassed by a cat and I can't breathe.
Yours or an animal?
What?
Yours or an animal?
There's an animal. He's a bitch.
Cat. Oh, I thought you meant your own cat was griping at you like, finger me.
No, that's not a thing.
No.
While we podcast. This is not a porn show.
Um,
It never will be either.
Thank God. Yeah, I don't.
That would be really awkward. I never want to listen to that ever. Anyway, I know I don't disagree with you. That's we had a whole conversation. What was it last night about how much I don't like Snapchat because I think it's a vapid pile of dog shit. So
that was just yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then I also want to know, whenever I'm mean to somebody like that on Instagram, I just get called a bitch and then they block me. Like there's no like fighting back. I get no sass back. Apparently, I just pick bigger dumbasses than you find.
Or are you more subtle about your sarcasm?
Maybe
what he's describing is very blunt. Very
but I'm
blunt.
pretty blunt.
Well, I can be too, but at the same time, my head goes to a couple steps ahead and goes, oh, wait a minute. If I'm that blunt, I don't really want to deal with that fallout right there. You know what I'm saying?
I accused the Married at First Sight guy of fucking a water buffalo. And I said it, like, dude, you didn't fuck that water buffalo.
But here's the thing.
That baby's not a product of you.
But the thing for me is, what's that chick's name on that same show, the Married at First Sight? No, 90 Day Fiance show.
Oh,
This show. Have you seen that show? Jackson, have you seen that show?
I mean,
90 Day Fiance?
No.
Okay, well, all right. I'm going to get through it quick then. There's a chick on there who's from, like, Colombia or Brazil, something like that?
Brazil, yeah.
Brazil. And there was an episode where she got on her soon-to-be husband because he complimented another woman's glasses, and she insisted he has to compliment her first. And she posted something on Instagram about it, and all I said was, maybe try to see it from his side, and you'll calm down a little bit. That's all I said. She blocked me instantly. That's what you call sensitive right there.
So so I feel like Instagram has, I want to continue the rant, the trolling I did is nowhere near over, the roast, whatever, but
okay.
I want to say this, like, I've noticed on Instagram, it's very funny how many tools we have to say, I'm uncomfortable, leave me alone person. So you can block someone, you can even unsend your messages. You can, you can follow someone and unfollow them. You can request them. It's like we're always indecisive because we're like, oh, follow me. But you have to think, like, what does a follow mean? A follow really means that someone says, okay, I see a button that says follow, but really that button is only a button because of code written. So, just picture a bunch of iPhones that are just floating in the air without human bodies. And then those phones have phones connected. Like it's all just a big chain of follows. And I can't figure out whether it's stories, whether it's posts, or whether it's like, I don't know what, like, the objective of Instagram is just perplexing because it's like, I don't know what to give a fuck about. Like some people have like 12 million followers and they're not following anybody. And I'm just like,
I'm glad to hear you say that. I am, because that's one of the social media platforms I just do not get.
Instagram?
I just don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it.
It's because you're not a millennial.
Fucking Kylie. Like today I'm on, Kylie Jenner's story, and I would literally, I would probably have testicular surgery just to get with her, but that's besides the point. Like she's like, my makeup, and it's like, Kylie, show your ass or stop. Your makeup is not what I give a fuck about. Like, I want to see your ass because I'm a guy, and every other guy does, but if they don't admit it, they're just bullshitting you. Men are savages. And if they're not going to be, every man is a complete savage in terms of sexual desires. The difference is some of them know how to not talk about it. Some of them know how to not send a girl a dick pic in a DM. And those guys who don't, And the guys who don't solicit their dicks are the ones who actually are worth living. Otherwise, if you're sending a girl dick pics, you're either a narcissistic fuckface or your mom never gave you enough attention to tell you how to dig.
You know what though? Do you believe women when they say that they get a lot of unsolicited dick pics? Just asking, do you believe them?
I don't have to believe. I've met girls who told me this is the guy I chose over you.
Okay, but so you do believe them?
Well, no. See,
or do you not believe them? Answer the question. It's a simple question. Do you believe them, or do you not believe them?
I don't believe them because belief itself is not necessary to say that this happened. You know, like people are getting dick pics whether or not I believe it or not. You know.
Well, let me tell you something. I actually, as a test for one of our businesses, started a male-oriented Instagram, and you know what I mean by male-oriented, okay? And let's just say that once it hit like 3,000 followers, I started to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 unsolicited dick pics from guys who would say how they love my pictures. Now there's black women, white women, Hispanic women, Asian women, light-skinned black women, dark-skinned black women, you name it. There's that type of woman on there. There's women with tattoos. There's women with no tattoos. I mean, and how do they think that that's a woman's Instagram?
Because they're idiots.
Because they don't use their fucking brain.
I hate to be irrelevant. So it's now the word unsolicited.
So now that's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm saying to you. That's why I believe them now. I didn't believe them before. I'm being honest.
Oh, okay.
But now I believe them because I've experienced it. They don't ask you. They're just like, here you go. You know what my stock response is? Wow. No wonder you have to send out pictures of that little thing. No one's interested in that. And they usually I'll get back a fuck you, you asshole, after I say that. So obviously I struck a chord. They do have a little tiny dick. I mean, that's what it comes out to. And I don't know how we got into this conversation, got to dicks, but whatever. It's how the show works. It's just how the show works. So you had more to say about your roast. So why don't we go back to that?
That's all. And
because we got about maybe 10 minutes that we can finish out here. So head on in there.
Perfect. So so many jokes I want to make, but I just don't have time. Anyway, so literally, basically, he's like, which you wouldn't humiliate if you weren't that ignorant. However, I got bored to text with a 30-year-old man who considers himself as funny. Good day, mate. And so I was like, I'd like to apologize. What did I think I may have. There's so many different screenshots of this shit. I was like, I'd like to apologize for putting a period at the end of what was a question. It's not. This is where it gets. I said it's not as easy. I said it's not easy to remember simple grammatical rules when your level of swag is as elite as mine. And this motherfucker is so stupid. He's like, level of swag. Do you even listen to yourself? And I was like, if you're asking if I have ears, my answer is absolutely yes. And he's like, and this guy's like, don't waste your time. No more Jesus Christ on a stick. This was so hard to read. And I said, then you need to see your optometrist, like as in. And so then this other dude's like, I'd like to join in on this. And, you know, and so then this dude and I, but you know what? That wasn't even the worst part. So there was the other dude who joined in and I didn't mention him. This dude jumped in and his bio said bad vibes forever. And I said, I guess bad vibes is really just your phrase to describe how horrible it is to pick oranges for a living and not having the privilege to work at a Mexican restaurant like the rest of your peers. Your turn. And don't forget, laughter is free. And he's like, let's get something straight, you fucking asshole. I'm Portuguese. I'm like, sorry, I didn't understand what Machado. Sorry, I didn't know Machado was. I mean, I did, but. And then I also said to him, "Are you the Mexican that's making Trump want to build a wall?"
Wow.
And this guy's like this
You're
guy.
A pin drop.
One of these. The dude I told, "Are you the Mexican who wants me to, who makes Trump want to build a wall?" That guy ended up DMing me. And we became really good friends. I'm like, dude, I wasn't being like nothing I said was serious. I was just trying to see if I could get a reaction to you, which is what roasting is. And it gets to a point in the DM where he's like, man, we should hang out one day. And that's the point, people.
Wow.
That's the point, people. Listen, roasting is not this competition to see who can be a dick and make you leave. Roasting is saying who can make a more insulting joke without being a pussy about it and moving the fuck on.
Hey, honey.
Hey, husband.
You heard what he just said?
Yes.
How would you say that fits with my philosophy that I always talk about on this show?
100%, maybe.
Pretty much. I mean, he's spot on. You're right on target. I would 100% agree with what you said.
But I think I don't want to go too much into esoteric crazy shit, but I mean, the thing is, people don't realize what the present moment is. People think that you need another problem is belief. I mean, you don't need belief to acknowledge that this moment is all there is, and the future only happens in the same moment. It's just a different moment. But the now, I mean, if you think there's a different now, then I invite you to take me to your house. Let's get in a teleportation device and let's go to that different moment, because it's not anywhere, because it doesn't exist. You fucking asshole. You can believe in God. You can be Hindu. You can be whatever the fuck you want to be. You can be a Scientologist, but the moment remains. And so belief is fine, but not when you do you believe in yourself? Well, I exist, so why would I believe in what's clearly evident? Evident, like I'm here. Do you believe in yourself? Well, can you elaborate? Do you believe that you're smart? Well, are you alive? Which is, adaptation is the definition of intelligence. Like, if you can adapt, therefore you are smart. Now, how smart you are is a different question. But if you can stay alive,
how did you get here?
If you can stay alive, you are by definition intelligent, because you're not dying. And to die would mean you failed to live. And if you lack skills at a certain level, you're not going to be employed or have an income of any kind, because you lack the skills to create value. And people are like, I want money. No, bitch. You want to create value that will give you money. You have it backwards. Your parents didn't teach you how to self-educate yourself. Fuck what school says, because they're just people making money off of your desire to be educated.
For those of you trying to follow along, I'm going to try to give a recap here of what I heard. Okay. Because, what I heard is that, his basic philosophy, people need to kind of re-examine their thinking because they're way off base. And then he gave as an example that, some people, when they do this roasting thing, and he described what that is, it's not serious. It's, he's just trying to evoke some kind of reaction out of the other person. And he's not saying it to be mean or to be, like he said, to be a dick. He's just, saying it to get, it's a thing that he does. It's like people play music. He does this roasting thing because he's a comedian. Makes sense. Totally makes sense to me. Now, in the end, he went off into this philosophy thing that I kind of got lost in there a little bit, but it was a philosophy thing. And what I wanted to say was somehow we went from like people to dicks to philosophy. Like, what the hell? What kind of conversation have we had here tonight? Like, what?
Let's be real. Hell? We talk about dicks in one form or another a lot on this podcast. People are dicks. People who send dicks are dicks. People who have dicks are dicks. Like, I don't know.
I will say
that last part. People who have dicks are dicks.
I'll add something. This is I'm kind of divulging, some secret knowledge here for you secret society assholes out there. But the reason why people get offended in the first place is because they're too identified with their mind. Your mind. This again, I'm getting real esoteric here, but the thing is like, some of your thoughts are not objectively based on anything. They're based on irrational fears, beliefs, etc. So I'm not saying that your thoughts aren't meaningful. What I am saying is that if you know someone who is mentally retarded, or retarded as I will say, because I don't give a fuck about these labels that people put on words as rude. Anyway, if you know someone who's retarded and you hear a retarded joke, if you feel a reactionary, emotion that isn't positive, what you're doing is you're allowing something that is relevant to your life to change how you feel about words. And that is not the definition of being, Aristotle said it best. It is a mark of an educated mind to entertain a thought without accepting it. So don't let words are sound waves. This entire conversation we're having is based on the fact that we can produce sound waves with our brain. So if you're going to let sound waves, which
now
are words,
way out there.
Like
now you're way out there, though.
I know.
Let's reel you in a little bit. Okay, I'm pulling back. Pulling back. All right. So here's the thing. Didn't we just have a conversation on this very show about that?
Somehow, I think.
Didn't we?
Yes.
Like a couple of nights ago, I thought we had a conversation about this very thing, about how like you can say whatever you want. That's your prerogative to say whatever you want, but you have to own you have to own it. You have to own your words. Because if you own your words, then you'd probably be a little more cautious about how you use them.
I'm not sure that it was in a podcast, but I think we had this conversation in the car, actually.
Maybe I just distinctly remember it, and I was trying to place where it was, but that's kind of our philosophy is like, you show certain people respect because they've earned it, right? Not because they're owed it.
Absolutely. Yes.
And people like we had an issue around election time in November where a local city that I lived in for 25 years was having a vote on something, and their big argument was going to increase traffic. Well, I have kids that I drop off in that area several times a day. So of course the traffic is going to affect me. So as Victoria and I were talking about, you get to have a say, right? But you can voice your opinion, but you don't get to have a say really, because you don't get to vote for it because you're not in that city. All right.
I don't get to vote on anything.
But the point being, you still get to voice your opinion on that topic. So we got into this whole thing, and it's like everybody gets into if you're in favor of or if you oppose my argument, then you must be in favor of this horrible argument. Well, why must I be? Can't I be opposed to both? I mean, like
Apparently.
you said, someone who's intelligent is going to be able to entertain the thoughts, but not necessarily accept those thoughts.
Let's be real.
With exactly the conversation we had.
With these lunatics, there's no gray area. Let's be real. Just like with the people of Instagram, there's no gray area. Either you're a giant piece of shit or they're like madly in love with you and sending you pictures of their dick. It's just how it goes. There's no gray area. I've tied it all together now. I put a bow around it.
I can say that, I might be out there, but the reason why I'm out there is because, autism makes you see things without cultural boundaries. And, quite frankly, Sam Harris, for those of you who give a fuck about Sam Harris, he really is going to change the way that people look at, the human mind and, experiences. Suffering is very meaningful, but it's only meaningful as long as you take meaning from it. Like the moment you're suffering for no reason, the moment you're just self-loathing for no purpose, you're. So I think there are a lot of things in this world that are just meant to make you feel better without actually making you feel better in the prolonged sense. They're just like, oh, have some potato chips, but 5 minutes later you get a glucose spike because those are refined carbohydrates. Oh, go look at this Instagram. Why do you have to watch someone else do their shit why not throw your phone out the window and say, fuck you, celebrity, you're making me not pay attention to my own life. My life means just as much as your life does, so why am I wasting my time watching your story? Like, people just don't realize like how much time they waste on other people's lives.
Well, I don't bother to spend time worrying about that, only because I am of the belief that everybody should be able to live their life the way they want to live their life until they intersect with other people. When they intersect with other people, then there needs to be a set of rules that enable both of us to get majority of our rights taken care of, but we have to kind of hold back on some others because of it might infringe upon your rights as we interact. But once we go into our private space, we should be able to do whatever the hell we want. So
Yeah,
telling
I
me
mean,
telling me how to be would be offensive to me. That's why I don't go there. There's nothing wrong. I also don't judge people who do go there, because if that's their feeling, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. But I'm just saying that for me, I don't really care. That's, to me, that wouldn't be an argument that would convince me.
well, I mean, so I'll make it even simpler. Like, if you spend 30 minutes on Instagram, how much money have you made? $0. There's my argument.
That's not true for me. I make lots of money when I spend a lot of time on Instagram.
That's one of the things she does for a living.
No.
Grow people's
Okay.
influence on Instagram.
Okay. So I'm saying, like, as an like
You
as
said
a
that to the wrong person. See that? We know what you're saying, though. We're only
I'm just
giving you a hard
bugging you.
time. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
did make a valid point there. It's true. Most people are making no money sitting on Instagram. You're absolutely
That's a colossal waste
100%
of
right.
time.
And even here's the thing that's interesting. Everyone thinks, oh, if you get to 10,000 followers, your account's going to be worth like $100,000.
It's
No.
not.
It's not even worth $10,000.
The last one I saw was $100 for a 10,000 follower account. So
yeah, it's not worth as much money as they think. And guess what?
Depends on your niche.
The effort it takes to get to 10,000, holy shit.
It's a lot.
I mean, it's taken almost a year now to get to almost 4,000 from the one account we started. And it's an easy niche. It's an easy niche. And all I do to make sure the account stays alive is follow Instagram's guidelines. Anyone out there trying to grow an account, that's probably the main thing I can say to you. Push the envelope as hard as you want, but stay within their guidelines, because they're a private company. Everyone seems to think that it's because everyone has it, that it's a public thing, but it's not. They're a private company. They can boot your ass off any fucking time they want.
I'm just glad that.
Just remember that. Remember that. Stay within the guidelines, and you'll grow. But as for you, my friend, where can people find you? I mean, are you out there somewhere? I mean, you're kind of out there, but that's okay, because I like that about you, actually. I like that you're a thinker, because that's me too. And it's kind of brought it out of me here tonight that, I'm kind of a thinker as well. And it's just interesting to me where you go with it. I don't always agree with everything you said tonight, but I agreed with a good percentage of it, I'd have to say. And I appreciate you being on here, but where can people find you?
Yeah, so I appreciate all the support. I suppose I have, work to do with an audience, I'm moving to Dallas tomorrow. Actually, that's where I used to live. I had to come to Louisiana for, a tentative amount of time, which ends tomorrow. But, I'm on Instagram at, the funny horn, spelled literally the funny horn, the way you'd spell it yourself. I don't want to take people to grade school again, but I'm gonna be at Hyena's open mic in Dallas, Texas, Wednesday and Thursday. I might even go to the Dallas Comedy House. I actually have a YouTube channel. My last YouTube endeavor was DirecTV called me and they tried to get me to buy a service. I was like, oh, this is a great opportunity. So I called back DirecTV and I asked their representative if I can watch bestiality and learn about time travel on DirecTV. And they're like, yeah, you can learn about they're like, yeah, you can do that. I'm like, so let me get this straight. Y'all are going to condone a theory that has not been shown to work yet. And you're also going to condone bestiality. And they're like, you can do what you want. I'm like, no, I think your brain's made of just horse shit. I don't think that you can learn about bestiality on DirecTV. If you could, you wouldn't be a business, because that'd be horribly illegal. I think it would, at least.
Do you know there's like 22 states where it's legal to have sex with a horse in this country?
Doesn't surprise me with the women that are out there. Just, I'm not being misogynist. I'm not trying to be rude. That was bad. I make really hard
Not sure it's all women. Not sure it's all women.
Oh, the look she gave you. Whoa.
No.
Whatever.
Look,
I called him a dick earlier, so I'm good.
Listen, these are all, I'm not really a dick. I just say shit that makes me seem like one.
Shots fired.
Where was I when you said this?
I said people with dicks are dicks.
Someone
and you
commented
on
me. But that included me. I'm the one who commented on it.
Yeah, but I called you both dicks.
Anyway, so people can find you there. All right. And guess what? I'm guessing that people probably could find you here again in the future. So, we'll make sure to let people know about that. You have any other, do you use Twitter or anything like that?
You know, I don't, and here's why. Like, I don't fucking care. Like, I'm a pariah, and I'm a pariah unless like there's a reason. I just like Instagram seems like it's the most prevalent of the. You know, I feel like Facebook is ran by cult leaders. I don't really like Facebook. I feel like Twitter is just like a better attempt. I don't really. You know,
Well,
sometimes
I'll
I
tell you
can be.
what. I'll tell you what, though. This I can give you advice on. I kind of agree with you, but what I've learned about Twitter, and I've been trying to teach Victoria here, is that for some reason, for podcasts and like speech kind of issues, like politics,
Her
I
middle
saw that
finger. That was
speech
cute.
kind of issues. Um, Twitter's the place. Like if you got something to say about politics, it's the place to be. If you got something to say about, freedom of speech type issues where you want to get your opinion out there and not get bashed for it, it's the place to be. And you can get in some really heated arguments, but it pulls you into the real world of what happens when you have opinions that clash. But I totally agree with you that it's like the majority of the shit that they share, you just kind of go, okay, whatever. I'm not interested in that. Oh, that's just bullshit over there. Okay, well, thanks.
See, when Twitter first came out, it was like Jim L just drank a Diet Coke, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna end my Twitter account now, and that's just how I went.
You know,
And
I
you just gave up.
I did.
swear I keep. I don't know. Since I started my Instagram, what I've noticed is like mostly public figures, actors, and musicians follow me. Like earlier, this woman, what's her name? Francis Foster, a comedian, followed me just now. Like some dude with like, I think Fire Malloy. He's a musician apparently. And then this actor, what's her name?
You need to watch the latest series of Catfish.
Where the
Find out that those aren't actually the people, even though they're a verified account.
Yeah, no, I promise. See, that's what like where the fuck is this person?
I'm going to get our Instagram account verified. It's gonna happen.
What are you gonna do? Send them Yogi's paw print?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's getting late. It's getting really late. We will have to continue this conversation at another date if you are so willing. How do you feel about that?
I was, to be honest with you, like I was really kind of hoping that y'all would give enough fucks about my well-being to invite me back. I mean, I know I could probably work on my attitude a bit, but there's only so much, give a fuck behind that statement. I just don't like. I am enough. I love myself, and I also love everyone else. But there's a point at which I can't become someone I'm not, just like y'all.
Amen.
You fit well enough. We'll invite you back. It's no problem.
Exactly. I
had a great time.
Like I said, you kind of inspired that little fire inside of me to come up tonight. And it's been a while, and I've mentioned that a couple of times on this show, that it's been a while where I felt the kind of like, I go from the extreme, like too chilled out to rawr. And there isn't ever that kind of one that I like, which is kind of in between the two. I get a kick out of like your extremes and stuff. And sometimes she gets that way too. And I get a chuckle out of that, but it's just not for me. I just go, a certain part makes me comfortable, and that's where I go. So
yeah, you never go to the extremes. Never, not even once.
Never. Well, when I do, I don't feel comfortable there. That's the point. I like it in the middle.
That's fair. I can respect it.
I was going to say, I don't know if y'all know Pamela Tatz's. She was on the Mysteries of Unexplained, I think is what it's called. But she followed me, and Ellie Sachs followed me. She did like a Woody Harrelson remake on CBS News. But it's interesting, like, and I know, anyway. But it's just interesting how the day I'm like, yeah, I'm a comedian. Then people are like, oh, follow him. I don't really understand how it happened like this, but it is.
Well, yeah, that's why you're supposed to.
But Twitter
we could answer all those questions, but that we have another show for that. So,
but Twitter's really like where the cool kids are. Like it's the mecca of like giving a fuck about what people think.
Pretty much. I like when the whole Ferguson, Missouri thing happened, and there was the big racial divide. I was kind of in the side of like, well, the facts don't seem to back up that it was racism, and the facts don't seem to back up, that the cop was wrong. The facts kind of seem to back up the cop, so maybe we should just like stop casting judgment, and these people are right in your face, like super brutal with their responses of things. And that's when I learned that, like, I don't really care what other people think about me. I always say it's none of my business what they think about me, because I'm not going to waste 2 seconds giving a fuck about what someone else thinks about me, because I know who I am. And the people who take the time to get to know me, they know who I am. So, like you say, that's enough, right? Caring about yourself, that's enough. And
Yeah,
I'm with you there, man. I'm with you there. So
we have this. I'll kind of shut the fuck up with this. People, for whatever reason, people are deluded. People are deluded so immensely that they think culture is this experience where you're supposed to go out there and like care about people before yourself. I don't know who the fuck made that idea proliferate, but like, don't go out trying to be complacent. Like, don't please people. Take care of yourself and then extend generosity. Because if you don't love yourself, how the fuck are you gonna love someone else? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know where this idea came from. Like if you hate yourself and you go out in public and you try to function, you're gonna treat people with that same emotional state you give yourself.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do people not accept this as truth? Like, it's just the truth. Like, whether or not you think it is. When you feel like shit, you act like shit. Just like when you eat shit. Just like when you eat. Just like when you eat shit, you feel like shit.
But you know what's interesting? It kind of does. I mean, it does. People take the whole doesn't give a shit or doesn't give a fuck. They take that offensive, as an offensive statement. But here's the thing. You know what? What happens when you do give a fuck? Well, you find somebody and you actually give a fuck about what they think and how they feel. And so rather than only thinking about yourself, which, by the way, one of my good friends always says, you can count on people to do one thing and one thing only consistently, and that is think about themselves. So, okay, back to the other scenario here. You got that person in your life that you really care about, and you don't care about your own thing. You give it to them. And that's because first, like you say, you have to be able to care about yourself, because if you can't care about yourself, well, then you're gonna fight that whole petty battle of, oh, well, I want to be the one who chose what movie we go to, and I want to be the one who chooses where we go to eat, and I want to do this, and I want to dictate that. But when you don't give a shit about any of that, but you do give a shit about what the other person's thinking and feeling, what happens is, in return, they stop caring about their needs and they care more about your needs. So you end up with harmony. And interestingly, it's about that, having that, giving a fuck about something. So yeah, most of the time, the other stuff, you don't give a fuck. And why would you waste your time? Waste your time on something you care about, not on something you don't care about. And you know what? How do you find out what you care about, man? How do you find out what you care about? What do you do?
I love every syllable you just spoke. I love. So this is where people get very defensive. They get very upset too. You can easily give a fuck about things that are completely irrelevant to your life and your well-being and your success, and et cetera, et cetera. So that is to say, you can literally care about the wrong things. There's no rule in life that says you have to care about everything. The less you care, the better, the happier you're going to be. Care about only so many things, because only so many things are actually only so many things can and will give you a life worth living. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time giving fucks about things that aren't even worth giving a fuck. It's like, no wonder people are so fucking miserable. They care about things that have nothing to do with them. No wonder.
The accuracy is real.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting because I have a situation where, I always say this, and it's 100% truth. I have no reason not to be completely truthful. But like, if some people say, "Oh, I'll kill you. I'll do this. I'll kill you," I always say the only person I could ever kill with a clear conscience is if someone was physically threatening somebody who I give a shit about. And that's the only time I could ever go to that extreme. I couldn't imagine just being that wacko that just walks up to somebody with a gun and puts it to their head and blows their head off.
Right?
I don't relate to that at all.
Well, that's either sociopathy or psychopathy. Someone who just murders somebody.
Yeah.
I
just don't relate to that.
And I'm just going to kind of blatantly make this assertion. I think many aspects of many people's lives are based on bullshit assumption. Like people believe in too many things. You don't have, like, I don't know why we've forgotten that knowledge is based on what we know is true. Belief literally means to accept something without evidence to substantiate it. So if you say, "Oh, I don't believe in you know, X, Y, or Z," it's like, well, if X, Y, and Z is true, you don't need belief to say it's true. Like, I mean, the other day I was like Poppy, my grandfather.
You do not like the word belief.
I mean, what I dislike.
You've made that clear tonight. You don't like the word belief.
Yeah, and
I'm just commentating because I find that one interesting. You really don't like the word belief. And it's interesting because you emphasize the word when you say it too.
I mean, here's why I say it over. I mean, why is it that we can start wars over what we think is true? It's honestly moronic to think that they're good for us. Like, if you want to believe,
see, man, I don't remember how old you are, but
24.
So I'm 30 years older than you because I just turned 54, and I wish I saw things as clearly as you do when I was 24. But now that I'm 54, Victoria will tell you, my philosophy is really simple, and I'm going to share something with you that we've personally discussed many times, but never shared before. And I think since you're a thinker, you're going to get this. What are the two topics that people say never to discuss?
Politics, religion.
Exactly. And guess what? Politics is religion and religion is politics. They're the same fucking thing. People have somebody they're looking up to. They believe in that person. And maybe it's God, maybe it's Hillary Clinton, maybe it's Donald Trump. But there you go. There's religion and politics. And they look up to that person. And guess what? People aren't wrong. Most of the people who voted for like Donald Trump, they're going to disbelieve everything that's brought up about him. And then the people who voted against him, who voted for Hillary, they're going to believe everything that's mentioned about him. It's only people who really matter are the people in the middle who didn't give a fuck about either one of those two and decided to vote for someone else. And he was a good choice. I'm not going to say who right now, but he was a good choice. So if anyone knows, it's obvious what I'm talking about. But in any event, yes, where was I going with this? Oh, politics and religion and politics. It's no different. It's no different than believing in a God that, you have to worship and whatever. Well, you're going to believe in this politician who can do no wrong in your mind, who, by the way, because there goes pretty girl cat, because you believe in Donald Trump, you have to hate Hillary Clinton. And if you believe in Hillary Clinton, you have to hate Donald Trump. And what's even worse than that is we line up behind our little tribes. The Republicans are over here and the Democrats are over here. Fuck all that shit. You know what? Be an individual. And that's exactly how I see you. Exactly how I see you.
I want to say three more things and then I will just let you.
Okay.
So, and I promise, I know I've said that before, but I mean it this time.
It's okay. Like I said, you know what? Hey, guys, we have a little chat window here where we can talk to each other. And I said in the chat window, keep it going and we can keep going longer. I don't really care because
I don't care either.
We're all about having an awesome conversation, which this has definitely turned into.
I'm about to unintentionally shit on people real quick. Christianity, in my firm opinion, based on Sam Harris's assessment of Christianity is the perfection of narcissism, and here's why. God so loves me. God loves me. He saved me. I'm blessed. I am blessed. My life is good. I'm God. God. It's honestly the most horseshit thing you can tell anybody. God loves me. What about a fucking kid in Africa who doesn't know who the fuck God is? What about someone who's fucking a vegetable and can't even wake up to know who God is? What about someone who's, it's such an exclusive religion. And so that's one part of it. And second part is this: religion is really just, all religions are really just an attempt to make up an answer. When people don't know any better, they're going to make up an answer because they don't like not knowing. Not knowing is not easy because you don't feel comfortable. But science tells us, be comfortable not knowing. Become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Then you'll become comfortable, ironically. It's like people think, I've got to believe, my salvation is at stake. No, you dumb fuck. No. If Christianity is the absolute answer to life, then everyone who was born without the opportunity to know who God is now fucked. So it's logically the most moronic way to look at life. I mean,
but here's the thing, okay? Because I can't let that go without saying something. I think that your first part of what you said is not true, and the second part of what you said is true. So let me explain. The first part of what you said that it's an exclusive religion. Well, all religions are exclusive because their belief system is that they believe in this deity, and in order to get to either nirvana, heaven, third heaven, fifth heaven, whatever the hell it is, you got to please the deity somehow. And they all believe that same thing, and they please the deity in different ways. So they can't all be right. Only one of them can be right.
Exactly.
Now, with that said, I started out, as a young cub. I met a guy when I was like 18, 19 years old, met this dude, and I was like really big into, rock and roll music, and just going to shows every night and working at a music store. And this guy was our receiving clerk, and he took me to this church where, the band Striper was their worship band. Okay. Like that heavy metal, yellow and black bumblebee looking band with long hair. They were their worship band, and it sucked me in, and I fell for it hook, line, and sinker until, I don't know, when I got divorced and I started to realize that, well, you know what? I thought that this stuff was forever. That's what that religion teaches. Mustn't be true, that part. Well, hold on a second. If I can find even one part of it that's not true by its own definition, it's not true. And since I already don't believe the other religions are true, then no religion is true. So I guess I'm just not going to believe any religion. Now, to preface something, I do believe that there's a higher power somewhere, but the higher power could be like electricity for all I know, like a force.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a physical being. So there you go. First time ever we've shared this.
You're clearly smarter than most people I've dealt with. And here, I want to respond to you in a way that you'll appreciate. So you don't have to believe that there's a God. All you have to do is consider it to be possible. You don't have to say, "Oh, I believe."
Bingo.
No,
Bingo.
Is it? You don't have to. Again, believing is not even necessary. Is it possible? Maybe. That's all you need. You don't need to believe anything, because believing itself is an action that your mind makes you act out of. So, but again, you said Christianity is not exclusive. Here's why I think it is exclusive. You can join Christians. You can go to church. You can even be a Mormon. You can be a Catholic. But the moment you sin, you can be excommunicated. So they only want you as long as you behave. When you go against the word,
so do all religions. So really what I should have said was, instead of saying Christianity is exclusive, I should have said, so the fuck what? Because so are all the other religions. So it doesn't really matter. It's just yet another religion. And I think we believe the same thing, but we come at it from a little bit different angle. And that's one of the things that Victoria and I we always talk about our relationship. We may not agree on the stepping stones to get to where we want to go, but we agree on where we want to go. Like what the ultimate answer is to a question. And that's why our relationship works so well. We have a fairly large age difference between us, but yet it's like neither one of us even notices it. Hi, Duncan.
He was being grumpy, so I had to grab him.
So, you know what, man? I've loved this. I could go on all night, but our listeners are not used to too many hour-long episodes, and we're pushing an hour. And you know what? I had a blast talking to you. So tell people one more time, real quick, your Instagram handle, so they can find you there, and also your open mic performances.
Hey, sorry again, I want to echo. I really have. I don't get opportunities like this very often, because quite frankly, not many people are available in the first place to have them with. But I fucking want to come back on this podcast again. But for my Instagram, you can find me at the funny horn. So literally THE funny spelled the usual way, horn HORN. My name is Jackson Horn. I plan to attend open mics in Dallas, Texas at the Hyenas Comedy Club. And my dream is to be a comedian. I was formerly studying. I was previously studying. I don't even formally. I was previously studying software development, but I realized I have too much energy and I'm too disagreeable to give a fuck about that shit. So, anyway.
So hold on here. You guys got to support this guy. And before you say goodnight, honey, I got one last thing
Good morning.
gotta say. I gotta say this. We're coming out with a book here shortly that's gonna help a guy like him. So I think that we should. I'm not ready to announce what that book is about just yet.
Stay tuned.
We're talking today. I mean, you don't hear these in the same date range because it's usually about a week off. But today's what, Friday?
Is
by
it?
probably next Friday, this book will be out and I'll be able to talk about it more. But right now, I don't want to talk about it too much because I like to,
it's a coming.
Under promise, over deliver. So, but anyway, there's a book coming out. It's going to help with a comment you made about having a difficult time finding people like us to talk to. And we have a way to solve that problem for you for less than $10, man. Less than $10. And I will talk about it with you another day, probably next 1 or 2 episodes. That's it. Check him out. He's a funny guy.
Trump didn't divide us. Ideas divided us.
There we go. He has to get that last word in, but what he doesn't know is there's a woman on this show. So she usually gets the last word. Almost.
I don't. You always do. But with that, good night, everyone.
Hasta bye-bye. Bloop, bloop. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.